Hello, everybody, and welcome to round 3 of the Petefighter Podcast. I am here with Matt Moylan, Director of Publishing for Udon Entertainment. Say hello, Matt. You're on. Here we go.
Hey, everybody. Hey, Pete. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, you're welcome. I'm so happy to have you here. We've definitely been wanting to do this for a long time. We've been kind of talking about it for like a year almost, and we've finally got round to it. So we're here. So if you don't know Matt, do you want to just give everyone your sort of like channel plug and give them a brief background of who you are and what you're about?
Sure. I mean, I don't have a channel. I have a.
Well, you've got a Twitter. Your Twitter's
I've got a
pretty.
Twitter. I'm at Lilformers, LILFORMERS, which is the name of my old webcomic that I used to do, making fun of Transformers. Mainly I'm a director of publishing at Udon. Probably your audience is going to mostly know. We're mostly known for the Street Fighter comics, but we also do art books, all kinds of video game art books, anime art books. We localize manga from Japan. All kinds of stuff like that. We also get a chance to work on creative services projects, like working on the Street Fighter video games. We did some of the endings for Street Fighter V in the arcade mode. We did all of the artwork for Street Fighter 2 HD Remix, every frame of animation and background and everything. So
wow.
So yeah, we get to do a lot of cool projects.
You've done everything. Basically everything that's ever been done. Udon Entertainment had their fingers in it at some point, which is amazing, really. But just sort of going back to you, you said you used to do a web comic, sort of like a thing to do with Transformers, because that was actually your background, wasn't it? You came from a Transformers background before Udon.
Oh yeah, I mean my first job in the industry was working at Dreamwave Productions, which was another comic publisher here in Toronto. Yeah. And their main thing was doing bringing back the Transformers comics, which hadn't been around for a decade or so.
Sure.
This was like the early 2000s, and after that company folded after a few years, and I moved on to some other stuff. I still had all this Transformers knowledge stuff in my head.
You were just overloaded with Transformers stuff.
Yeah. So I made a web comic about it with my own art style, which is like super deformed chibi robots.
They're so cute though. They're really cool. Like I was definitely like, I was checking it out like a bit more. I had seen you do that, and I'd see you post about it on your Twitter and stuff, like, because I know you still do conventions and
sure.
you
still got an Optimus Prime here for you.
There you go. That's awesome. Yeah, so I was definitely, but then I was actually looking for your like logo because I'd seen it before. So I was searching, and like so much stuff came up. I saw like basically sort of your whole back catalogue of drawings and stuff. So it was really cool to sort of go through all of those. But
yeah, I don't do the webcomic itself anymore, but I still do art and I still do convention appearances. I'll be at TFCon DC in October. So.
That's cool. That's awesome. So so how did you come around to start with Udon? How did that come into fruition?
So Dreamwave folded in 2004 because the guys that were running it didn't run it very well.
Sorry guys, if you're listening.
Yeah. No, I'm sure they're long gone from the industry. After that, I just did a bunch of freelance stuff for a year, doing every kind of job. I did coloring for comics, I did lettering, inking, flats, I did graphic design for other stuff.
Okay.
All kinds of things. And after about a year, someone mentioned to me that Eric Ko from Udon was looking for somebody to help him write press releases. Initially, it was actually... I made the joke that my job is to fix Eric's English. But he'd just write it out and like, okay, I'll make it make a little bit more sense.
Yeah.
That's because Eric's from Hong Kong.
He's from Hong Kong, yeah. Eric's definitely a fun person. I've obviously been working with you guys for a little bit now and doing the booths and stuff at Comic-Con. I'm actually coming to New York Comic-Con with you guys as well. So that's going to be,
Cool.
I'm going to be with you guys. So again, Eric's roped me in. Once he's kind of got you, he's got you, you know. He's one of those people. His network spreads far and wide. And he's, gets people to buy. He's like a massive toy collector, isn't he? Like, he's got like people muling stuff from all over the world for him, and like pins and all sorts of stuff. So he's
Oh yeah, no, Eric's toy collecting. I've told this story before, but we were talking one time about Power Rangers toys, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I've got the original." Well, Eric's like, "I have the original Titanus."
Oh, that's a good Eric impression.
Yeah, but he's got the original Titanus from Power Rangers in the box. Like, oh, can I see it? He's like, oh, I don't know where it is. Like, but the thing's like enormous. He doesn't know where it is.
Oh my god. It's like, yeah, I mean, like, I can only imagine. I see how much stuff he buys at Comic-Con every year, and I'm just like blown away. I'm like, where does he put all of this stuff? Where does it go? Like, wow. Well, yeah, anyway, hopefully I'm going to have Eric on at some point. I'd love to have a chat with him and sort of see how he got into all of this. So just
but
sort
yes. But yeah, joining up with Udon. So like I said, the first thing was doing press releases, but then I just, it's my thing is just never say no to anything. Like, can you do graphic design? Sure.
Sure.
Can you manage this project? Sure.
Yeah.
I can try that. And now I'm running the publishing division. So.
That's awesome. That's the best way to get where you want to go, isn't it? Especially coming from an acting background, everyone always used to say to me, sort of like, fake it until you make it, you know? They're like, can you roller skate? You say, yes. Can you horse ride? Of course. And then if you can't, you go and learn very, very quickly how to, like, do what you need to do. So, being, saying yes to everything is definitely, it's helped me out in my career. So I can totally relate to that. So what kind of what have been sort of like the ups and the downs of working for Udon? Like, I mean, what's some high points and some points where you were like, I don't know if I'm doing this right, or have you ever had those kind of moments?
I don't know. It's tough. I don't call them low points, but the hard stuff is sometimes things are just late and you can't do anything about it, and it's frustrating. You can't
like Sagat.
People are. Oh yeah. Well. I mean, different projects are for different regions. Like there's one like when we picked up the Persona mangas, when we started talking to them, the Japanese licensor, there were 2 volumes out, and they said, go ahead, announce it. I'm like, okay, cool. And by the time we finished the contract, there were 6 volumes out. By the time we finished working it.
Yeah.
So we've learned to let's try not to announce things too early.
Right. I see.
The Sagat series is going along. We're done.
It's ticking.
3 issues. We're finished. We want to finish the whole thing before we even
put it out.
Finalize a date. But we've finished 3 issues out of 4.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
So it's close. It's because so many people. Honestly, I think that's my number one asked question that everybody asks me when related to Udon. It's that and some other things, but which I'll get onto later. But everyone's like, when's Sagat?
Yeah, it is turning out really good. It's a lot like it's obviously a sequel to the Akuma origin story that we did spiritually, and by the same creative team, Chris Saraceni writing and Joe Ing drawing. And it's got a lot of similarities, but I'd say this one, besides being origin of selling how Sagat became kind of the dark figure that he is, but also this one compared to Akuma, I'd say it's a lot. Got a lot more geeky Street Fighter references in it.
Right.
So,
okay.
Yeah, you'll see like character like people's parents or people's masters.
That's cool. That's awesome. Do you like when you have when you do use the parents of or stuff like that? Who kind of makes the creative decision on like what they look like, or do you try and reference any materials? I know like Kiki has done like 1,000,001 drawings of everybody's kind of families, on the internet. You can see like the new Capcom artist Kiki's done like all these profiles for every kind of character going pretty much these days. But who would make the decision? Is that down to the artist if there isn't any sort of like key art that can be referenced, or?
Yeah, if there isn't, I mean, sometimes we'll talk about the editor, the writer, the artist, but usually we'll give the artist a little bit of direction and we'll go from there.
Sure.
But if there's something available, we'll try to use it. Nowadays, there's tons. Like you said, Kiki's drawn everybody. But back, say when we had to come up with Chun-Li's dad, he's not in the games, but he was in one of the animes, so we could reference that.
Oh yeah. You just use that.
Or Goken has been like a character since the beginning of the Udon comics, and he only came into the games of Street Fighter 4. So we referenced the manga version of him back then, and he ended up kind of similar. He's got a different beard.
Yeah, but it was pretty similar. So like you said, like delays and stuff are kind of like what is a stressful sort of like low point. What have been some of your what are the highlights? What is the highlights for you?
Oh, highlights are just getting to work with all these properties. I mean, it seems like every couple months we do like something. Wow, I can't believe we're working on this. So like we worked on Osamu Tezuka art book, the creator of Astro Boy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, or we got to work on the Darksiders games, which are really cool. Just because a lot of it too is like, we're we'll be into something and then talking about it, and then suddenly we're working on it as well.
Yeah. So what kind of got you into gaming and like pop culture in the beginning? Like where did that come from?
Well, pop culture, I'm just a kid of the 80s. So
yeah, I mean, I think we're all a bit of a product of that. Not trying to age myself there or age you, but I think we're all of that similar age where we love.
Yeah, no, I mean, I was born in 1980, so I got the whole 80s experience. But yeah, like He-Man and Transformers, and, Ninja Turtles.
The good stuff. None of this rubbish the kids are watching today.
Well, it's funny. The only reason it all exists is because Ronald Reagan changed the law that you were allowed to basically make a show that's a toy ad now. So that's where all of that stuff all exploded in the 80s.
Yeah.
Which seems horrible. But it was great.
But it was, it's totally, we've totally benefited from it in the long run, which is, I was watching, did you ever watch that? It was a Netflix documentary. It was like The Toys That Made Us.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was really great. It was really, really interesting. And it was definitely interesting to see like how He-Man and Transformers sort of came up from that. Definitely that marketing aspect more than just wanting to make a TV show for a TV show. It was more like we need to sell to children.
Yeah, that was the origin from it. But luckily, a lot of the people that worked on it wanted to make something good
cool.
as well.
Yeah.
I mean, gaming wise, I always had games in my house. My parents, I don't know how early they bought it, but we had an Intellivision as far back as I remember, which was a Mattel video game system.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so this is like early 80s. So we always had that. It had the controller for Intellivision it looks like a phone kind of. It's like a big dial, which is like it's actually an analog control stick. In terms of direction anyway, it can go any direction. And then it has a number pad on the top, like 12 things, and you slid in a different sheet for every game that had the different controls for whatever it was.
I don't know that one. I think
it was very Atari looking, the games.
Okay, the first one that I had, I remember going to London to visit my cousins, and they like bestowed upon me their old Atari system. The one with like where you load the tape and you have to wait for like 2 hours for like the game to load, and then there would be an error right at the end of the tape and you'd be like, oh, you got to start all over again. But I remember playing that when I was pretty young, and that was amazing. Like
after that I got an NES when I was I think 6, and had every Nintendo console since then. And,
oh, so you're a Nintendo boy?
Well, I mean, you have to. It's like it doesn't matter if it's not PlayStation versus Xbox versus Nintendo. It's PlayStation versus Xbox and
Nintendo. Yeah, I've always said that. I'm definitely team PlayStation and and I've always been a Nintendo boy. I never grew up with a Nintendo. My friend had one that I used to play on, but I had the Sega Mega Drive, as we called it in Europe.
Oh yeah, I had that. I weirdly never had a Game Boy. I had a Game Gear.
I didn't have it. I never had a portable. I had the only portables I had was those horrible like LCD versions of things. Do you remember those?
It was like Tiger games.
Yeah, and they were like
with the
street. There was like a Street Fighter one and a Sonic the Hedgehog one, and I remember getting those and being like, "Oh, I've got a portable version of Sonic the Hedgehog," you know, and it was like the worst. It was literally like 4 frames. It was really like Mr. Game and Watch kind of thing.
And,
they were horrible, but I've still got them. They're still at my mum's house, so I'll have to dig those out.
Nice.
But did you because you're obviously from Canada, did you call it the Genesis as well?
It was called Genesis.
Was it Genesis? Yeah, it's just an English thing, and they called it the Mega Drive. So
well, that's the Japanese name.
Yeah. Oh, is it? It's the same. Okay,
Yeah.
Makes sense. We because we're the same region, I guess, with Japan, Europe.
Who knows? Sometimes it's just that like the name is trademarked or something.
Yeah.
Stuff
Yeah.
Like that.
Yeah, this is true.
Anything with Sky in the title usually gets changed because of Sky News.
This is true. Yeah. So you were talking a bit earlier about like all the like properties and stuff. What has been your favorite project that you've like worked on?
The coolest thing was Marvel vs. Capcom Official Complete Works. Getting to put all that, because now I can say I worked on a Marvel book. But,
well, as you can see, I'm Team Marvel as well. I love my Marvel. So
yeah, I was a huge Marvel fanatic in the '90s. And lately I don't really even buy current comics. I've been buying '90s Marvel comics.
Oh, you've been going to the back catalog.
Yeah, so I finished off my X-Men and Uncanny X-Men, like the complete '90s series. So now I'm going into other books. But working on the Marvel vs. Capcom art book was great. We went back, not just in the Versus series, but like the Street Fighter, Children of the Atom, and Marvel Superheroes, and even the Punisher, which is a beat 'em up game, not a fighting game.
Yeah,
but it was Marvel and it was Capcom, so we got it in there.
That's cool.
Great.
Yeah.
Some of the artwork too, it was a lot of work to dig up. Like it was the cover for the American cover for Marvel Superheroes. Capcom didn't have it anymore. We contacted Joe Madureira, who was the original artist. It's like, I don't know, but you might.
Do you have a copy of it?
Yeah. No. Well, he put us to the inker. Was it Art Tiber? I think that's who it was.
Mm-hmm.
And he still had a photocopy of it. He didn't have the artwork, but he had a photocopy of the artwork. So he sent us that, and we cleaned it up, and it worked really good.
Oh, that's good. At least you had like one sort of decent-ish copy that you could work with. But yeah, that's crazy that it just like went missing. Like, just
I'm gonna check the book now and make sure I said the right name. Make sure the right guy, right? There was a bunch of inkers back then.
Mm-hmm.
Here it is. Let's see. Oh, it was Tim Townsend. Sorry, good. No, it was Tim Townsend.
Tim Townsend. There you go. So that was your all-time favorite. For sure.
It was the coolest project that we worked on.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah. Just it was also an important project in the history of Udon too, because Udon started out. I mean, we're obviously best known for the Street Fighter stuff and Capcom projects, but Udon's first project was working for Marvel, doing these Burger King Kids Club digital comics that you got in with like a kids meal.
Oh, okay.
Like, they came on like a little CD, and they were for X-Men Evolution, which was the animated series at the time.
Oh.
So that was the first project Udon ever did. That's why Udon exists, because Eric happened to be at the Marvel offices, and they're like, "We're never gonna get this project done." And Eric's like, I think I can get it done.
Of course.
So he's jumped on the phone at the Marvel offices and started calling artists, and got a bunch of artists together. That was like the formation of Udon.
That's really cool. I mean, like, how do you sort of go about choosing people for certain projects? You know, obviously certain people are tied now historically to certain lines that you do, but like, how do you initially distribute when you have, like, say you have a new thing come in? How do you distribute that and say, okay, Edwin's going to do that one, or Chamber's going to do that one, or Joe's going to do that one? Like,
well, it's figuring out who's going to be best for the job. Like one artist might be better at women, and one might be better at big muscly dudes.
True,
Or
yeah.
it might just be the style that we want. Like if we want awesome painted artwork, we wouldn't maybe just have Edwin because he's very cell cut and very very like flat style, like comic book style.
Yeah.
But we might hire somebody like Panzer who paints a lot of our covers, or we might, if we thought, oh, we really like Edwin's anatomy for this, but he's not the right rendering style, so we'd get Edwin to pencil it. Then we'd get somebody like, say, Genzo Man to paint
it. Well, I've seen that a lot. Like, you know, some of the covers and stuff. I think it was the Street Fighter Unlimiteds. I think it was Edwin that did like the lines, didn't it? And then Genzo Man did like the painting on it and stuff. Like,
which is the
hardcover copies. Yeah, it's a really nice sort of like merging of styles. Like to see sort of them being rendered, someone's very specific art style, like Edwin's, like you say, rendered in a different way, which is it's cool to see. So
or if something comes up that's like, oh, this is outside of the wheelhouse of our regular guys. We know a lot of people who don't work for Udon all the time. Like if something comes up with robots, we might hire Alex Mill, who works on the Transformers comic, but he's a local guy that we've known for a long time too.
Sure.
So, you know, we have a lot of options.
You've got your mech guy, you've got your hot girl guy, you've got your muscly dude guy. Just like your go-tos. Yeah. It's really cool to see. And that's what I really like about Udon. Like, you really do sort of celebrate lots of different styles. It's not... It always has that overall umbrella feeling of Udon quality and work, but it's still very individual, which is what I think...
Most of the people who are attracted to working with us are, because of the properties we work with, have some Japanese influence themselves. So there's usually a little bit of that in most people we work with. But yeah, they're still very diverse within themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So what are the current... We sort of touched on Sagat, but like, what are the other current projects? Maybe you can't talk about some of them. I know there's some that we can't talk about, but...
Well, I mean, we're finishing up Udon's Art of Capcom 3, which is another collection of all the work we've done for various Capcom projects.
Yeah, which Chamba did an excellent job on the cover for that. I love that.
Yeah, that's great. But it's going to include a lot of comic covers, but also like the game endings for Street Fighter V that we did.
Yeah.
Promotional art for the Mega Man Legacy collections.
Yeah.
Things like costume designs for Street Fighter 4. There's actually a lot of them. Like we did a whole, I don't know, like 3 rounds of costumes for them.
Yeah.
For their releases for Street Fighter 4 for every character. But there's also like ones that didn't get picked up. Like they decided, no, like that project was a lot of us pitching them ideas and within the theme, and they'd say like, that one and not that one, try again.
Sure.
So there's a lot of ones that didn't get used, and there's even a whole theme that we went through, but it got canceled. I guess they moved on to Street Fighter 5 by that time. So there's a whole series. I won't tell you what it is. You'll find it in the book. But there's a whole
cool.
Series of costumes that will be in there.
That's definitely something to look forward to when it's released. When is the release date of that? Do we have a release date for that yet?
Aiming summer 2020, so it'll be around convention season.
Ta-da! There you go. So,
but we've also working on the Monster Hunter Illustrations 3 book. So it's another in our series of Monster Hunter art books. We're localizing the How to Make Capcom Fighting Characters art book.
Oh yeah,
released in Japan.
It did, yeah.
Which is it's weird. It's called How to Make Capcom Fighting Characters, but really it's almost all Street Fighter. It's mostly a really in-depth look at Street Fighter V and the character creation process and the costume design process.
Okay.
And then there's also a portion of it that goes back to the old games, all the 2D games, like how they create the sprites and how they create the animations for Street Fighter and also for Final Fight.
Oh,
and
nice.
then a whole bunch of great interviews as well. So
Are
it's gonna be a
you
really cool
are
book.
you guys going to be doing anything for the Final Fight 30th anniversary? Is there anything
When is it? Wait, 1980. Well, that's this year.
this year? December.
I hope we can announce something by the end of the year. But we've got something. We got something cooking for Final Fight.
Oh, brilliant. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
That's something to look out for as well there. Something cooking, can't talk about it yet. I love that. That's always the
See, I've been playing a lot of Final Fight. Let's say that to get ready for it.
to get ready. Yeah, we've just I've just launched a sort of a worldwide thing for everyone to submit fan art for a sort of a fan art collection. So for Final Fight. So if you are an artist and you're interested in joining that, check that out because that's going to be a lot of fun.
Cool.
What else?
Otherwise, I just finished off the Street Fighter Encyclopedia.
That was
new edition.
that's what I was going to get onto next. So
cool.
the new edition, it kind of because it was coming. Well, you've done one anyway.
We've done it twice before, actually.
Oh, is it?
We did.
Oh yeah, there is two.
We did like a pocket-sized version was the original version, like a manga-sized version, and then that was done right kind of at the launch of Street Fighter 4. So it's got like Abel and El Forte in it, and then we did an updated edition at the end of Street Fighter 4 that had Juri and now it was oversized. It was a hardcover art book, just like our regular.
Yeah, your regulars. Yeah.
And that was at least 5 years ago, I believe, that we published that one. So now with Street Fighter 5, there's a ton of stuff to update. So this one is expanded like 50 more pages.
Wow.
With all the new Street Fighter 5 characters and updates to the classic characters for what's gone on in their stories, and also a whole bunch of NPC like side character updates for the back section that has all the non-playable characters. So
that's awesome. Yeah, I'm going to show, if you're watching this on YouTube, there'll be a sample there of the latest character, Lucia, from Final Fight, but now Street Fighter 5. You got that out really quick. She was like announced, and you were like, and then you sent me like a picture of the artwork like a couple of days
we finished
after.
It over the weekend of Evo.
Yeah, it was like crazy fast. I was like, I just got the message from you, and I was like, dang, they moved so quickly. That was like, it was crazy fast. So like, how did you sort of like decide how to like include her? Like, how did you get people so quickly? Like, I mean,
well, we're a small company, so we can create art quickly. It's not a problem. But like for her info, it's really just drawing from what exists. Like she already had a mini profile in the NPC section.
Sure.
Because she's tied. Well, I mean, she's playable in Final Fight, but all the Final Fight characters are like side characters to the Street Fighter universe, so we include them that way. But we just expanded it. So drawing from, I mean, I can go through a bit of it here. I have it myself. Like saying, let's see, so Lucia once teamed up with Mike Hagar, Dean, and Guy to take down the Skullcross gang. That's just, the story of Final Fight 3. And at the time, Lucia was eager to repay Hagar, who had previously helped to clear her of a false corruption charge. And that comes from the Final Fight 3 manual, actually, the place that's mentioned.
Sure.
And then go on to say she's also acquainted with Cody before he became Metro City's mayor, as the two had fought the Mad Gear gang together. And that's something that's only mentioned in Street Fighter 5 in her story mode, because it had actually never been mentioned before that she had fought Mad Gear or that she even knew Cody, because they're not in the same game.
Together.
Yeah, and Final Fight 3 is all about the Skullcross gang, which is a different group that took over after the Mad Gear.
Mad Gear's been diluted.
So yeah, we draw from all kinds of different places from the games.
Who compiles that? Is it you that compiles that, or?
Yeah, this is that actual. It's not always me for this type of project, but this one is actually me going in and researching all the characters and all the sources. I couldn't do everything myself research-wise because a lot of stuff is in Japanese, so we had a translator go through and translate a few books. Like there's a book called All About Street Fighter from Japan, which is actually it's sort of a portion of a bigger a bigger book called All About Capcom Fighting Games, and we had a translator go through and just translate all the info that was written for that book, like in the 90s. Otherwise, go to we've gotten a lot of info from the Shadowloose CRI character profiles.
Yeah.
So
they're very helpful now these days.
Yeah,
it's kind of like the definitive guide, like that's is put out by them. So you like, okay, that's the sort of the real information, because there's so many contradicting things on Wikipedia and Street Fighter Wikipedia, because this sort of like crowdsourcing information, it's always a little bit.
Yeah,
some of it's true, some of it's not, and you're like, that's not quite right.
I'll actually use the wikis and read through them, and when I find something like, I haven't heard that before, that's interesting, I'll go try to find a place that corroborates that.
The source it, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Me too, yeah. I mean, sometimes you're like, that's not right at all, but you do find out a lot of really interesting things on there. There's some definitely interesting Capcom historians out there that know all these like crazy facts. And people always seem to come up and be like, oh, to me, and I'm like, oh, okay. And I mean, I'm not bad with my Capcom history, but there's definitely some.
There'll be stuff that contradicts itself even within the games.
Within the games, yeah.
Decide. Yeah, like Alpha 3 is way different than anything else. It has kind of its own story. It's kind of like a what if their endings now.
Yeah.
Or things like Ken has blue eyes in Street Fighter 4 and brown eyes in all the other games.
Yeah, they do tend to change things up a little bit sometimes with their designs and stuff. But
Vega has had every color of hair ever, from like bright blonde to like dark brown and like.
Well, I mean, he dyes it every now and again. I mean, like some people, like sometimes I get messages and they're like, this character has got the wrong color hair, or this character, like, and I was like, they don't wear that. And I'm like, dude, people change their clothes. They wear different things every day. You do, why can't they? It's like, just
once in a while, Capcom will actually tell us this is the new standard. You can't do it the way you used to anymore. Like, we used to give Zangief kind of like a brown hair color, and their official is like, no, it's like black. It's like dark. That's his hair color.
Oh,
it's been inconsistent in the past, but this is the way it is now.
Oh, so it's definitely black. So I mean, like, especially like now you like going through the process of like, for example, the encyclopedia. So when a page is completed, like Lucia's new page, you then submit it to Capcom for approval.
Yeah.
And then they double check everything and.
Yeah, this is the way it works for most games. We submit it to Capcom USA because we're publishing in the United States, so we have to go through that way. It wasn't always like this. I can go into that later, but we send it to Capcom USA, and they'll have like a licensing person there who knows who's the correct producer to pass it on to.
Sure.
And because in Japanese video games, at least, the producer is usually not just the guy in charge of the game, but kind of the guy in charge of the brand. So they'll pass it on to them, and they'll review it. And
it was Ono-san for such a long time with Street Fighter, but who is it now? Actually, I've forgotten who.
I don't know. Has it changed?
It's changed.
Recently?
It's recently changed.
I'll have to find out.
But Ono's still around. Like, I still feel like he's the figurehead.
Oh, right. I think he's more of a. I'm the fighting games overall producer, or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
and different producers some guys will just be like, whatever Udon does, it's good. Some guys are like very particular, looking through everything.
Yeah. I feel like, especially with the Street Fighter franchise, like Capcom, from my experience, like especially from my experience and talking to like your artists and stuff, and you as well, that they very much trust you, and you're sort of like, they know you're not going to do anything crazy with their characters, which is really nice, They kind of almost give you like a bit of a free reign, which is really cool of them, because they could be complete like, no, but
oh yeah, they've been even in recent years they've been telling us like, go do something a little different, don't just follow the games. try out some different things, because I guess it just, it's cool. It's nicer for them to let us experiment with something than rather just throw it in the game. Like,
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, yeah, it's kind of like, oh, it can. If it doesn't work, then they can be like, oh, well, it's Udon. They can.
I'm pretty sure we're the longest. We're the longest running Capcom North American licensee because we've been doing Street Fighter since before there was a USA licensing department.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, when we first got the comic license, we had to go to Japan, license it directly from Japan. And the United Capcom USA at that time was just kind of a just localization division.
Wow, that's crazy. That is really crazy. So like now your license is directly through Capcom USA. But how does that work? Because like I know that because everyone's always like, oh, why can't they sell the T-shirts and the stuff in an international way? And I know that's because of obviously they only have a license with Capcom USA. So if they wanted to sell like for example this Mega Man T-shirt or the Street Fighter pins that they make and all of that through Udon Collectibles, they would have to get a license from each kind of territory. But you guys sell your books internationally, because I mean, like that's how I knew you guys. So
the book license I believe is international English, and then not Asia, something like that is the way it works. International but English only.
Okay.
For most books. And things like the Street Fighter comics, we actually we are allowed to sub-license them in other languages even, which we have done a couple of times.
Oh yeah, because I mean I've definitely seen like Akuma Origins and stuff in French and stuff like that. I know when Long was here, I took him to like a local like kind of bookstore, like I don't know what you have over there, but it's called Fnac, and it's like a like a book and video game kind of tech store, and he went in there and was like looking for obviously his work and other people's work too, and we found like some of the Udon comics in French, and he was like, oh my god, he was like taking pictures and stuff, so that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and the merchandise license is a little different. This is a thing a lot of companies have done lately is they have high-end licenses like master merchandise licenses, but they also have what they call collectibles licenses, which means you can only sell it at conventions or online on your personal website, but not distributed into stores.
Right.
So
okay, so that's why all of these kinds of things are con exclusive.
Yeah, basically direct sales, selling direct to customers.
Yeah, and obviously they only have a North American license for it, so stop asking in Europe for these kind of things, because
get a friend.
Get a friend. Yeah, well that's the thing. I end up muling stuff for people because they're like, oh, I need one of these T-shirts and these pins and stuff. So then like
the Udon merch Underground Railroad.
I know, so I end up with like a shopping list, and I have to do runs of stuff. But I've stopped doing it now because it was getting like too long. It was just like no, and then I had like no room in my case, and I feel the pressure, when people are paying all this money for these like collectibles and stuff, and I don't want to like ruin them, especially when it's like art prints and things like that. I'm like, I don't like having them in my like luggage and stuff. Like stress me out.
There's always eBay for some things.
Exactly. Well, I mean, that's how I used to get my hands on like your stuff or anything like that I really wanted. I just you just have to pay the late fee, or what, the late tax of you have to pick it up from somebody who paid hundreds and hundreds of dollars to go to San Diego Comic-Con, Yeah. It's they're like, oh, it's bad, and I'm like, well, you didn't have to pay $500 to get into Comic-Con to go and pick it up, so it's still cheap in comparison, so it is what it is. So are there any, talking of projects and stuff, are there any projects that we should be keeping our eyes open for that you can talk about?
Oh yeah, well coming up really soon on the 11th of September is one of our new comic one-shots, Street Fighter Akuma vs. Hell. which is going to be super fun. It's if anybody remembers, at the end of our Street Fighter versus Darkstalkers crossover, Akuma decided to stay in the Darkstalkers dimension and train there. And so this is just a one shot of him fighting
demons,
zombies,
and
lava monsters, demons.
I loved your because I saw the cover that Edwin had done with like the big monster head and him like tiny doing his little like thing, and I saw that you'd like given him an example, like, and it was just like a screenshot of like him doing the little fireball, and then you just drew like this big like monster head and like something like this and then it was like the side comparison.
Yeah, when I have a really specific idea of what I want them to draw, like here's a little doodle.
Yeah, it's great. I love that. Yeah, definitely check out Matt's Twitter, because he gives you like lots of sort of behind the scenes looks at not only Udon but also sort of the industry. And your Twitter's really, really interesting because it's you have so much art knowledge. And it's great to see these like little sort of like art history pieces come up. You know, you're like, this is this artist, and they did this. I'm like, I really appreciate that. Like, I loved it, and I think that's why a lot of people follow you as well. Like, you know, because it's really cool stuff that you post about.
Cool, yeah. I mean, I gotta review everything that we publish, so all the art knowledge sticks in my head.
This is true, yeah.
Some of the Street Fighter little bits of like behind the scenes stuff or Darkstalkers is just funny sometimes. Like why does Ryu have a red headband in Street Fighter 2 when he had a white one in the original Street Fighter? And the answer is just, according to Akiman, we forgot. we just forgot. But
just forgot.
Yeah.
I mean, like, talking of like Akiman and stuff, like, I know you guys have worked with him as well. Like, you had a signing at the booth a few years ago. I missed it. I was so upset. But like, who is your favorite Capcom artist? It's a bit of a loaded question.
Edion's my favorite Capcom artist.
Mine too.
I really like Bengus too. But back in the day, I thought all of the Bengus and Edion stuff was all Bengus, and it turned out some of the pieces I really like are actually Edion. So and then he has Rival Schools, which is pretty much his whole own game.
Yeah,
with all his designs.
That's why I like, because you know I'm a stand for Rival Schools. So all of that art is
a character in Street Fighter. Somebody.
Who would you put in?
Well, I would put Tiffany. We don't have a female boxer.
A female boxer would be kind of cool.
And she's very Street Fighter-ish, because she's, very themed of her country.
This is true. She's just like Stars and Stripes all over her completely. Yeah. I think her, or I think there's kind of like 3 or 4 characters that I think would fit within the universe pretty well. Like, I've always said, like, Akira, because of her design.
Yeah, Akira is one of the best character designs.
I think, yeah, and
you could even do like a Vega thing, where like she wears her helmet but gets knocked off.
Exactly, yeah. Or that's her like V trigger. She like puts it on, and you know, that kind of thing. Her and Tiffany, I think, would be a good fit. But then people like Roy and Batsu and stuff, they're too similar to their Street Fighter counterparts. They fight like Hinata is just basically Sakura. Like, they've got exactly the same moveset, so it'd be kind of, what's the point? I think Kaizoke would be kind of fun, and a lot of people remember him from Capcom versus SNK. So like, so that he's
like, you can just see in your head like his like pose, like
exactly.
He moves.
So I think
he was very he almost feels like an SNK character.
Yeah. Yeah.
So smooth.
He's got that. Yeah, he's definitely got that kind of long, like, sleek design. Sleek design to him. But then, I mean, like, other people are like, oh, I want this person. It would be great. And I'm like, I can't really see like Natsu being in Street Fighter, getting out her volleyball and like, You know, it's a bit
Yeah.
weird. It's just
Yeah, some
like
of the
Street
rival
Fighter.
schools characters are very.
They're too
to go with the
wacky.
theme they're silly because that's the rival school's theme is very like school clubs.
Yeah,
and stuff.
exactly. Like how you like having Nagare doing his like synchronized swimming, like at Ryu and Akuma. It would just be very, very weird. So I think they definitely should stay within their game. But then there are, like we said, like some that can definitely transition across, and it'd be nice to see them be integrated. Because I had that glimmer of hope when the Kanzuki speech stage came out and Hinata and Tiffany. I was like, they remember them. They're there. And I was like, oh, they're gonna be coming in. I felt it, you know. And a lot of people were at that time were saying that Akira was going to be one of the DLC characters. I was like, that would be cool. And I was like, well, they've sort of started showing rival schools there, so maybe, but we've had nothing.
Let's keep hoping.
Keep hoping. Fingers crossed. Well, I mean, I feel like Street Fighter V is kind of coming to the end of its lifespan now. I mean,
we've got it's lasted a whole console generation. So, like, it was I don't know, a launch title, but it was, I don't remember if it was, but it was a pretty early.
It was an early title, yeah.
4 title, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I always buy my PlayStation for a Street Fighter game, pretty much. The PlayStation 3 I got for Street Fighter 4. PlayStation 4 I got for Street Fighter 5. So I mean,
that's why I got my PS4 is for reference for Street Fighter 5.
Yeah. So I'm sure if and when Street Fighter 6 launches on the PlayStation 5, I'll probably pick that up as well. So, but it's
too bad that the number is one off. It keeps.
I know, it's like one off now. It would have been good. They gone 4, 5, 6 like all together. They just kept them together. But I mean, well, it might not be Street Fighter 6. It might be something else. Who knows?
Sure, who knows? Street Fighter Infinity.
Street Fighter Infinite. No.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, that was. Did you ever play Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite?
I tried it.
It wasn't.
I don't know.
It wasn't for me.
No. No. I went Dragon Ball Fighters instead.
Oh, you did, yeah.
Yeah, it kind of has the spirit of old.
Old. Yeah. I would even be interested to see like if they did change up. I mean, like, you know, all these rumors are going around about Street Fighter 6 and stuff, or the new one, and they're going to say, oh, they're going to be using the Resident Evil engine that they use for Devil May Cry 5 and Resident Evil 2 Remake.
No, I'd love a Street Fighter or a Capcom fighting game that's in the spirit of Dragon Ball Fighters. Like,
exactly, like a cel-shaded kind of something.
Yeah, like I'm not a hardcore Street Fighter just in the gameplay too. Like Dragon Ball Fighters is, you know, pick up and play, and you learn one character, you learn them all pretty much.
Yeah.
From a basic standpoint, just a simple game like that for Capcom or for Street Fighter would be great. And just keep plugging in characters.
Just do a Smash Bros. Just do everybody's here.
Yeah.
Just stick them all in. That would be pretty crazy if I mean I don't think they could ever do it because there's too many characters now. There's so many. It's too many.
Yeah, unless it was some way that they could build on a previous game engine. It'd be tough.
Yeah.
That's why Marvel vs. Capcom always works so good, because you just grab everybody from all the 2D fighters and throw them in, right? Up to Capcom 2.
Yeah, they just threw them all in. Although I hate on some of those, like on the SNK one, like some of the sprites like really don't match. Like, and it really like
the Darkstalkers one are a little odd.
Oh yeah, like Morgan is always like, I was like, I don't want to pick her because she just looks so bad, you know, like so ugly, very very bad, very weird decisions. Sometimes they make great decisions, but then sometimes there's very weird decisions that are made. So apart from that, anything else that we should be keeping our eyes open for?
Well, we've got the Darkstalkers Official Complete Works hardcover is coming in October.
Yep.
Which has been out of print for a while. And also collections of all our Darkstalkers comics in hardcover for the first time will be also out in November.
Sweet.
That's most of the Capcom stuff for the end of the year.
What about your other stuff that's coming out?
Well, we've got 2 Shigenori Soejima art books coming in October, which are he's the artist behind the Persona series. So The first one covers Persona 3 and 4, which is a reprint of a book done before, and the second one covers Persona 5, and also some other stuff like the Catherine game,
series.
and some new art from the other Persona games, from like the new editions of 3 and 4, or things like the Persona Dancing All Night game or the Persona Q games.
That's cool. Like that. Awesome. Yeah, I've recently got into the Persona series. I kind of got introduced to it I've always known about it, but I've never like actively like engaged in it, you know. It's just kind of been one of those series that have been there and I know about it, but I don't really know anything about it.
That's cool. I'm
familiar with it, but not overly familiar with it.
It's kind of replaced the overall franchise that spawned it. It's like Persona is like a sub-franchise of Shin Megami Tensei. And there's a whole connected, they're not universe connected, but spiritually connected pile of games from Atlas, like the Megami Tensei games. Mm-hmm. There's Devil Survivor. There's, I think, Demon Summoner.
Yeah.
And a few other games. It's such a huge, massive franchise.
Yeah. It's really cool. So then I went out and got Persona 5. Because I was like, I really loved the sort of the art style. It was one of those things that I was drawn to just because of the art style and the way it looked, and obviously the gameplay matched. Like it's a great game, and now it's definitely made me want to go back and play the earlier titles as well. So now I've been hooked in to Persona, so much so that I've started buying, you know, figurines and things that you guys did a load of Morgana pins and stuff. Yeah, I know. Like, yeah, it's a slippery slope. I love discovering like a new franchise that I love, but then it's dangerous because I end up spending.
Oh yeah, you gotta always check beforehand. What am I getting into?
Exactly. Like, how much of a slippery slope is this?
Is this a 3-novel series, or is this a property that has animes and
exactly animes and games and toys and things and theme park experiences and all sorts of stuff that they do now? Like, it's pretty dangerous. We touched on having Akiman at the Udon booth. You had him a couple of years ago, but who is the most exciting person that you've kind of met on your personal journey? Doesn't even have to be at Udon, you know, like ever.
I think the coolest thing was getting to meet Joe Madureira and work on some projects with him. Who's the artist behind Darksiders. Uh-huh. But he's back in the 90s. He was one of the key guys on X-Men, one of the key artists, and the guy one of the first guys that I really got into as a superhero artist by name, like, and follow them wherever they would go. You know?
Yeah.
But yeah, since we got to Udon got to publish the Darksiders art book, so we got to work with him and his at the time he was at Vigil Games. Uh-huh. Now he has his own company, Airship Syndicate. They did Battle Chasers, which is another one of his original properties. So that was really cool to meet one of my favorite comic artists from being a teenager.
Yeah, it was. Yeah,
and now being able to just email him up, hey Joe, can you send me this file for something?
Yeah, it's weird when you sort of come on to sort of like first name terms with people like that now. Like, even through working with you guys and like sort of on my sort of journey, just even now, like I was at Evo and Ono came up to me and started talking to me because he recognizes me now, you know, he knows that I work with you and stuff. He's like, oh, hey Pete. Like, I was like, oh, he knows who I am. Like, it's very weird. Because, you know, I've seen
some of the artists even now, like guys like Edwin or Panzer are guys who, you know, read the Udon comics when they were teenagers.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I did. Yeah. I grew up sort of reading your stuff, you know, all the way in London. And now to sort of like work with you guys is like, it's like an honor, you know. I absolutely love it. So that's also a dream come true for me. So that's a lot of fun. Talking of dreams, what is a dream franchise that you would love that you don't currently have and haven't worked on at all, what would be the one that you like? I want it.
Well, the one. Do you remember Gargoyles?
Oh yeah.
Gargoyles was great. It's like as an animated series in the '90s. I think it's second only to like Batman the animated series.
Yeah, I remember Gargoyles.
But it's such a cool mythology, and it's actually a fairly like tight, small property. It's just a couple seasons of the show, and there've been some comic books, and that's about it. And it'd be so cool to work on either like a Gargoyles comic or Gargoyles encyclopedia or something.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah, I saw that you guys did one of my favorite shows growing up recently. You did a Samurai Pizza Cats.
Oh yeah.
I was like, Samurai Pizza Cats, sign me up. I love them.
Okay, that's one of those projects. We have a few art books like that. They're like, okay, this is not gonna make our year. It's not gonna be the blockbuster book of the year, but it's so cool. Let's just do it.
Just do it, yeah.
We'll sell it to the few thousand people
that really want it. But yeah, I mean, like Samurai Pizza Cats does hold a special place in many people's hearts. When you guys announced that, people did like get hype about it. So
it's got a cool history too. Ours is focused on the original Japanese edition of the show, but they do talk about the American show a bit and how I'm not sure if the full story. Well, basically, I know the story is that it's something like when they brought like the American show is really wacky, and fourth wall breaking, and the reason is that this is in the book. They sent over the scripts for the original show for them to like localize, but the voice actors in Japanese improvised so much that the original scripts became kind of useless.
Okay.
So they just decided to kind of let's just improvise too. Let's just go our own way based on the art. So there's all kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah, because it was a bit of a crazy show, like.
And you'd think that'd be like, no, you're like being so disrespectful for the original, but the Japanese creators thought it was great. They're like,
oh, that's good.
They had super fun time, just like we did, and it turned out great.
That's awesome. What type of video games do you like to play? What's your sort of like favorite?
I mean, a bunch, but my favorite is usually tactical RPGs.
Okay.
Like that's like Disgaea, like grid-based stuff. Or I really like the Valkyria Chronicles series. Just kind of it's not grid-based, but you have a whole bunch of troops, and each one of them can only move so far, and only gets one shot.
Yeah.
Like that.
I'm so bad at those games. I'm so bad. I'm always just like I just click and I just mash, and like I'm not good at those. I'm not a tactical. I'd be terrible in a war if anybody sent me to do anything like tactics.
But those are great. Yeah, I'll pick up a lot of fighting games but I'm not gonna get super in depth. I've never played competitively, or I don't even play online very much. Usually just games that I can pick up and play at home with some friends.
Yeah.
Something. Just pick your favorite characters and have fun.
Definitely.
Or anything Nintendo-wise, like all the core Mario games.
The core ones. Did you play Odyssey?
Oh yeah, I played it to like completion, like everything you could do until they started. There's too many costumes now, so I haven't earned all the costumes. But,
okay.
But at one point,
did you get all the moons? You got all the moons? Oh man.
Well,
Jesus.
You can actually get an endless amount of moons, but because you can buy moons as well. But But I got every one that's actually in the game. So
Yeah, because I think I've done pretty much. I think there's like one or two now that I'm like, I don't know how to get it, or like I'm like I was just like, oh, that was too hard, and it's pissing me off. Just like I'll come back to it another time. I think it's like there's one what are they called, like the temple in Zelda Breath of the Wild. I think there's one that I'm looking for, and I can't find it. I have no idea where it is. I'm like running all over the map.
I did everything in Breath of the Wild except get all the Korok seeds.
I'm doing pretty. Yeah, I haven't done all of them yet.
There's so many.
It's like 1,000. It's like too many.
You know what's great though? When they did the DLC add-on where they gave you the map that showed where you'd been. that was crazy because I played this game for so long, and then you look at the map and like,
I've
never
never
been here.
You've never
I've never
been
been
to
to this
that
mountain
place.
range, or
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, that was it was handy, but equally annoying. Okay, so I because like I'm sometimes affiliated with you guys. A lot of people ask me questions about submissions for Udon and stuff. What is the sort of best way for the people out there to get noticed by you guys to potentially work with you?
Well, it can't hurt to send stuff to our fan email to send a portfolio. I mean, we check everything there, but also just like tag Udon on I've got a piece of art, check it out. Tag Udon on Twitter or on
Instagram or
Instagram,
something.
and we every once in a while we'll go through and just let's just check the Udon tag to see what everybody's saying about it, and we'll see it. Or you can if you think, or you can tag me. It's fine if you want. You can tag at Lil Formers if you really want.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. Because
and we're definitely almost never going to reply right away, but we'll remember some great artists, and when something comes up that's appropriate, we should contact that guy. Like we try out a lot of people on our swimsuit special every year. Try out some new people.
That's great. That's awesome. What advice do you have giving someone who wants to get into the business and become a professional artist or comic book writer or anything like that?
Well, artist-wise, I always say practice drawing the things that you hate to draw. This is probably what you need to work on. Like you can't just be drawing, single character pinups. You got to draw buildings. You got to draw cars. You got to draw, like forests, things like that. Like look through the places you want to work at. Like if you want to work at Udon, look through Udon comics and see what we draw.
And see what you guys do. Yeah,
it's very weird. We get a lot of stuff like every year. There's always a couple like I'd like to submit my art, and it's like a caricature artist. Like it's so not what we ever do.
Yeah,
just drawing like cartoony faces. So check out the that you're in line with the work that the companies do. But as a general rule, like I said before too, like never be afraid to try anything. Like maybe you might not be able to, maybe you're not ready to be an illustrator, but maybe you'd be a great colorist. And that's a job that people need too.
Absolutely.
And you can work your way up to being an illustrator.
Absolutely. Excellent advice. Well, that's kind of all my regular questions for you, but I have got a quick fire round for you so people can get to know you a little bit more personally. We kind of touched on some of the questions, so I might skip over a couple of these. Okay. But answer honestly, answer quickly. Okay. And you don't need to go into big detail with this. Just give me the answer. Okay? Are you ready?
Okay.
You ready for this? Okay. Your favorite color?
Usually like a goldish orange.
Goldish orange.
Color, coincidentally, the color of the Udon logo. But that's
there you go. Just wrong side. It's there. Okay, it's right there. Okay. Describe yourself in a hashtag.
Hashtag 1984.
Okay.
Not for the book, but for the year.
Okay. Your favorite app?
Favorite app? Oh gosh, I don't know. I really don't know. Maybe Amazon.
I love Amazon too. Yeah, there you go. Not sponsored by Amazon. I'd love to be sponsored by Amazon. Thanks, guys. Favorite video game of all time?
Oh man, I think the first Valkyria Chronicles.
Okay. Favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie? Do you know the movie Snatch?
Yeah.
The Guy Ritchie movie.
Guy Ritchie movie. Yeah.
Yeah, that movie's great.
Okay. Favorite anime?
The X TV series, but not the movie.
Okay. Favorite music?
Favorite music? The Traveling Wilburys.
Okay.
You should know who that is.
I have no idea who that is. The Traveling Wilburys.
Yeah, they're a supergroup. They're made up of George Harrison, Tom Petty.
Oh, okay.
Roy Orbison. Who am I missing? I'm missing one more super famous person. Who's still alive? George Harrison, Jeff Lynne. I'm missing one famous guy. Super famous. Oh, Bob Dylan.
Bob Dylan. Oh, okay. Wow.
Yeah.
I'll check
So it's
them
a
out.
group of super group. Yeah.
A super group. Right. What are you listening to right now? What's on your like playlist?
Probably just like soundtracks, like anime soundtracks. I've been weirdly listening to the Ninja Turtles 1990 soundtrack lately, like the film,
The
live
movie,
action.
Turtle Power.
Yeah.
I love
Oh,
that.
dude.
Yeah, I've got that on my playlist too. Yeah,
Dude, I had that on cassette as a kid.
Loved it. Turtle Power. I loved it. Perfect. 3 words that best describe yourself.
Myself, I hope creative. I hope resourceful, and I hope honest.
Okay, perfect.
hope all of them.
What is the best dish that you can make?
I'm pretty good at making lasagna.
Lasagna. There you
Yeah.
go. You sign me up. I'll take some lasagna.
I make it with half ground beef and half like spicy sausage.
Oh,
So it's pretty good.
that sounds pretty good. Do you have any allergies?
Not me, but my house is full of allergies. Like my daughter and my wife.
Oh,
So,
really?
Yeah, they're both allergic to peanut butter. My wife's allergic to a bunch of other things.
Oh, wow. What is the best piece of advice you have received?
Well, for some reason the one I always remember is an artist, Rob Ruffalo, telling me about his advice about art was like, it's got to be a balance between realism and interest. So it doesn't always have to make sense, but it has to kind of make sense, but it also has to look cool. So find the balance.
Find the balance between realism and cool stuff.
Yeah.
What's the last text message you sent? If you can read it out.
I'll find out. Let's see.
It's probably just like, okay. I always ask this and it's always just like, yeah. Or
It might be like an eye.
yeah, if you
probably
can't read it
bad.
out, you don't need to. But
I think it's just I to my wife. Like she's saying, we should make this for dinner.
okay, all right. Do you believe in ghosts?
No.
No.
But ghost stories are interesting.
3 things you like ghost
sorry.
stories. No, carry on.
Oh, like paranormal investigation. Like, oh, this is interesting. It's all full of it.
But you don't believe in it. 3 things that you can't live without.
I don't want to say I'm trying to live without Coke, but I usually can't. Like the drink, not the.
Should say, all right. So it should be your wife, your daughter. Like that's 2. No, I'm just kidding. Like
Internet.
internet. Okay, yeah.
And my family.
And family,
Thanks
internet, and
thanks
Coke.
for reminding me.
Exactly
I might
right.
there.
Damn it! I fed you that one. Okay.
Being without internet sucks. Vacation, I say, is like, oh, it's like a stressful week with crummy internet to go on vacation.
I know. I've got the worst internet in the world here. Like I'm still waiting for fiber optic, and they're not putting it into my. They're not putting it in my area until 2022.
Oh, I'm doing pretty good. I've got gigabit download most days.
I wish. That's like a dream. My upload speed is half a megabyte. Half.
Oh my god.
Not even one. Half.
I've got a pretty good upload speed too. That's why I picked up package.
Yeah, I can't. Okay. The latest TV show you binged.
Right now, I'm binging The Expanse on Amazon.
Your favorite Twitter account.
I should say. Yeah, I love William Shatner.
William Shatner.
He's the best old man.
You probably know the answer to this one, but Marvel or DC?
Well, Marvel, but if you ask my favorite superhero, I'd probably say Green Lantern. But
okay.
But as a universe, Marvel.
Okay. What superpower would you want to have?
Immortality.
Really? You'd want...
Yeah, as long as it comes with staying not ancient, not the
I don't know.
2020 catch 20.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd want to be around forever.
I'd like to be around forever. Yeah, that'd be great.
You would? Oh, okay, all right.
Yeah. As long as it's not like that movie where if you die, you're still alive, but you start decaying.
Oh yeah, no, that's yeah. Okay, who is your celebrity crush? Do you have one? Can you say that?
I'm not allowed to say that. That's a trick question
when you're married. All right, okay, we'll skip over that one.
If it's like who would you marry if it wasn't me, and the answer is nobody.
Exactly. That's the correct answer. Yeah.
It's a trap.
It's a trap. What's your favorite animal?
I mean, I like cats as a pet. We don't have one because of allergies, but cats are a great pet.
Cats. Favorite fast food?
Well, here we have a place called Burgers Priest, which is kind of it's a small chain here.
Burgers Priest.
Yeah, it's called the Burgers Priest, and all their burgers are like Vatican City stuff, and their best is they have a
Is that not a little bit sacrilegious?
Oh man,
I know.
I think their catchphrase is something like saving beef, like one hamburger at a time. Like that.
I mean, I love it.
Their best is you can replace the buns with grilled cheeses. So it's like cheeses and the hamburgers. Yeah.
Sign me up. Praise Jesus. I'm going. They sound amazing. Oh wow. Okay, you've absolutely sold that to me.
I'll bring you if you come to Toronto.
Okay, yeah. Well, I lived in Toronto for
come back.
3 months. Yeah. I was there training with Disney Cruise Line because that's where they do all their training.
In Toronto?
Mm-hmm.
I guess we have water.
Yeah. Well, no. It was where all the show department. They have studios there.
Oh, okay.
So they they bring the cast there. They all learn the shows, and then they go out to the ships. So they fly everybody in from all over the world. So I lived in Toronto for 3 months. It's an amazing city. Love it. Where was I? Do you speak any other languages?
French.
Well, yeah,
I didn't actually get English until I was about 8. Didn't get English schooling until I was 8 years old.
Oh wow!
I went to French immersion. I don't speak it great, but I read French books and stuff.
Oh wow! There you go. You definitely. I live in France, and you probably speak way better French than I do. Your favorite candy bar or candy?
I like Crispy Crunch, which is you can't get it in the U.S. I don't know if you can get it. I think it's Canadian. I don't know if you can get it in the UK. It's like crunchy peanut butter chocolate in it.
Sounds good. Anything peanut buttery, sign me up. I love that. Favorite food?
It's usually pizza.
Yeah.
Or I love they have at the pizza place here they have what's called a panzerotti, which is basically like it's like a folded over pizza and then they deep fry it.
It's like Scotland. They deep fry everything. I was doing a show in Edinburgh Festival, and I used to go home. It's a festival. Everyone's performing. You're out late. You're drinking with all the people, and I'd always just get absolutely trashed. And then there was all this fish and chips place, and they deep fried everything: Mars bars, Kit Kats, everything. And I'd always get a deep fried pizza and chips on the way home. It was amazing at 4 a.m. when you're drunk as a skunk, but I don't know how I'd feel about it now. But
I'm glad that the nearest pizza place is a 10-minute walk, so it's too close to drive, so I'll walk it. But at least I get a walk when I'm to even it out.
That's perfect. Yeah. Get your steps in. Your favorite drink?
I really like lemonade.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like old fashioned style, or like
sweetened
regular?
lemonade.
Sweetened. Gotta
have sugar in it.
Gotta get that kick. Do you believe in aliens?
I don't think we've been visited aliens, but in the size and scope of the universe, there's got to be something.
Even if it's a little on a moon somewhere, it's got to be somewhere. Chicken or beef?
I would usually be beef.
Beef. Favorite season?
Fall.
Everyone
Like
always
fall.
says fall. Everyone loves fall.
Yeah.
Why does everybody love it? It's
The
my
summer's
favorite too.
the summer's too hot and winter's too cold and spring is too wet.
Yeah, fall's just fun, and you have
Yeah.
Halloween and stuff. What's your favorite board game?
Oh my god, I have too many.
I know, actually, that's a bit of a loaded question for you. I know
I
you're really into your board games.
have like 100 board games, man. I really like a game called Zombicide.
Zombicide.
Yeah, it's like a modular game. You can set up all these maps and stuff, and it's a cooperative game, and you're playing against the game, and just more and more zombies fill the board like miniatures.
Uh-huh.
And it's set up so that the more zombies you kill, you ratchet up a danger level, so even more zombies come. So
Oh, wow.
It's usually like a mission where like you have to accomplish something before you die. So and half of the time you lose, but it's still fun.
That is still fun. What is your current obsession?
Like I said before, collecting 90s.
90s comics.
Yes, mostly X-Men.
X-Men stuff. Disney or DreamWorks?
Well, Disney overall, but lately DreamWorks has been having really good movies. I mean, ever since like How to Train Your Dragon, maybe, or
Since Chris Sanders went over, basically.
Yeah.
And like whipped them into shape. Yeah.
I didn't watch that movie for the longest time, and then I just put it on with my daughter. I'm like, oh, okay, we'll watch this. Like, oh, this is really good.
Yeah.
Wow.
They are. The How to Train Your Dragon series is definitely great. Even the series on Netflix and stuff is excellent. It's really good.
And I think even lately, the Disney movies are kind of better than the Pixar movies a lot of the time. Like, I thought Zootopia was great.
Zootopia was fantastic. Wreck-It Ralph. Moana.
Yeah, Moana's animated great. It's fine. It's a fine story. I wasn't a fan of Frozen. Or, Wreck-It Ralph was great. But, yeah, Disney themselves have been doing some really good stuff.
Yeah, I'm excited to see all the new stuff they've got coming out. What job would you be terrible at?
Terrible at? Oh, let's see.
Like, the worst job. Like, it's something that you've just like, don't make me do that. I'd be so bad at it.
Musician, probably. Weirdly, so when and it's odd because my parents just bought me a guitar one time. Like because they saw my brother is a musician, and
he's a musician.
They saw he plays guitar and bass. They saw me goofing around with his guitar once, and then just out of nowhere they just bought me a guitar. But we thought you were interested. Like, no, I'm really not.
I just happened to be holding it that 1 second you looked at me like,
yeah.
Nightmare. Are you usually early or late?
Late. I don't know. I can't help it. It used to. I'm better now. It used to be like later and later every night before I had a family, and I just eventually get around to the next. Like, oh, I'm at regular time again. I made it all the way around, and then I'll be going around again.
Start again. How do you like to relax?
Yeah, video games.
Mm-hmm.
Usually, or like really relax is watch a show. Like I've been watching The Expanse lately, and watch a show and not do something else at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is hard to do sometimes. Don't be on your phone. Don't be playing a game at the same time.
Sometimes I feel like there's so many times I've had to like watch a series like twice because I didn't really watch it the first time, and then halfway through the season I'm like start getting really into it, and I'm like, oh, this is and then I'm like, actually I don't really know what happened to the beginning at all because I was like on my phone or something, so I have to like stop and go back. So
if it's animated too, I feel bad if I'm not like great watching it. Like I'm missing everything. I'm missing all the work.
Yeah, this is true. Yeah. Walking or Uber?
I'll probably usually walk.
What is your dream car?
Like a early '80s Ferrari, like Sideswipe.
Oh yeah.
Transformers. Yeah.
Yeah.
They just look cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's not a Ferrari. That's a Lamborghini Countach. But who's the Ferrari? I forget. Anyway.
Ferrari then.
Or Lamborghini is also cool.
Lamborghini, yeah. Okay. What is your favorite holiday? Halloween,
Christmas.
Christmas.
Now that I have a kid, Christmas is great.
Yeah. It is. It's definitely. There was a time in my family where, like, all of us kids had like grown up. Christmas is just a bit weird. It's just like it's still fun because you get to see everyone. But now my cousins have got like babies and like little toddlers. It's definitely sort of more fun seeing it through their eyes. Again, you kind of get to relive that excitement, which is really
it's great to see them get it a little bit more every year too. Like
yeah.
Like this year, my daughter's like, "Oh, I can ask for stuff."
Here's my list, dear Santa. I've been very good. Star Wars or Star Trek?
I mean, I like both of them, but I'm a Star Trek person. Star Trek's like my favorite thing.
It's your favorite.
I would so when you ask the question of what would you love to work on, I wouldn't say Star Trek because I don't really want to work on it. I don't want it to ever be ruined for me to be involved in it and turn it into work.
Absolutely. That's what I tell people all the time, because some people have said to me like, "Oh, why don't you go and apply to work at Capcom and stuff?" And I was like, I really wouldn't want to do that because it's kind of my outlet and it's fun for me, and I love seeing it. For me, I feel like I've got the kind of the perfect mix, because I'm like, I see it from the outside and I still get excited about things, but sometimes I get little bits of information or I'm privy to certain things. So I feel like I'm just sticking my head behind the curtain occasionally. So I'm like, it makes me feel like, oh, I know something that other people might not know yet, but I don't want to be in boring meetings where it's like, oh, this is the projected blah, 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 like, I don't want it to ever be like that. And like you said, when it becomes like work, because I mean, that's happened for me. I mean, I still love Disney, but I work for them now. So like, I feel like I've been completely desensitized to Disney stuff, because like, I'm immersed in it all the time. And it's just like, I still love Disney though, but it is work. What's your favorite city?
Well, I love Toronto. I mean, I've lived here for 20 years almost. But
if you had
like not my city, I really like New York.
New York?
It's a lot like Toronto.
It is actually
a little grimier, and a lot more of everything.
That's what actually I always said, that Toronto is one of those places that I would love to live. I was like, I really love it. I don't know how much I love the winters, because
well, for me, this is the sunny south. I grew up in northern Ontario, like
okay,
north of Lake Superior. It's to get to my hometown. It's like a 15-hour drive.
Oh wow,
from Toronto north.
Wow, I remember, like, I think it was like the weirdest thing ever, because my birthday's on Halloween, and we all went out in Toronto for my birthday, and it snowed on my birthday, and I was like, the fuck is happening?
Once in a while.
I was like, why is this?
That's like the cutoff point. Might snow at Halloween.
And literally, like, the week before, I was in like shorts and t-shirts. Like, it was
it just changes.
So weird. Very, very strange. What is your favorite? Did I already ask you this? What's your favorite book?
Favorite book? I don't know. I read so many different types of books. I mean, if I go comics, my favorite comic like story is The Age of Apocalypse from X-Men, because that turned me from like a guy who buys some comics to a comic collector. Like, I gotta get everything.
I gotta have it. Where would you like to visit that you've never been?
I've never been to Japan. I haven't been.
Oh, you've got to go. You have to go.
I'd like to go, but not on a work trip.
Yeah,
as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, you have to experience it. Like, honestly, I the first time I went for 3 weeks, and I did like a little bit in Tokyo, a bit in Kyoto, a bit in Osaka, Hiroshima, and like sort of back again, Mount Fuji, back to Tokyo for a couple of days and out. And it was so whirlwind that I didn't really take it all in. So like the last 2 times I've been, I've just literally stuck to Tokyo, because I feel like there's so much stuff I want to see in Tokyo as well. Like, it's
I'd love to go back to I've only been to the UK once. I'd like to.
Where did you go in the UK?
To London. And it's nice. It was a very easy vacation. Like, it was a business trip, but it was a very easy place to explore. Although maybe you have it here. I'm always so nervous crossing the street. Like, am I looking the right way?
The correct way. Well, I think especially in London now, they like put a thing on there. It says like, look this way, because they know that it's so international now in London that people are just getting like, which way do I look? Which way do I look? Do you have any tattoos?
I don't know. I don't think I could be interested in something long enough to always have it there.
Yeah, that's the thing. I've never got one, and I've always kind of was like, I'd quite like to get one, but then I was like, I don't know what I would want for one. Like you said, having interest in it for long enough, and as well, like I'm sure like you, I'm a bit of an artwork snob. So like, if I was like, I want this exactly, and it doesn't turn out exactly like I'm like, that's on my body for the rest of my life, and I will be devastated.
Yeah, I don't think tattoos are generally up to my art standards. Like because they fade and stuff. Outside of maybe just the pure black ones, stick around really well. But otherwise, I don't think they'd be up to what I would want.
Yeah. What is a franchise you just can't get into?
Game of Thrones. My wife watches it. And I'm like, this is just a lot of people getting kidnapped and stuff.
And well, I mean, like I never got into Game of Thrones either, so we're very similar in that respect. But when the end, like the finale came out, like, no spoilers because I don't actually know what happened, but everyone seemed so disappointed that I was like, haha, I didn't invest 7 years of my life in this.
I want to know if it was all a big trick by George R.R. Martin, because he supposedly gave them some notes, but I think it was just a test because he's not done the books yet. So like, let's see if people like this. Oh no, okay, crap. Good thing though they did it. I'll do something else.
Oh, okay. Who's your favorite character ever?
Favorite character? Man, I love Thanos, the comic book Thanos.
Mm-hmm.
He's very different than the movie version. I love that he's a brilliant villain, but his whole goal is to impress Lady Death, who's like an actual person, but he knows that he's not worthy of her. So like subconsciously, he will subconsciously set himself up to fail, and that's usually what the heroes have to figure out. Like what's he screwing up? How do we?
Right. Last question. Something underrated that you love.
Underrated?
That you're always like, but it's the best. Everyone's like, meh, it's alright.
I like the second Mortal Kombat movie because it's stupid. It's stupid like the games are stupid. You know, like ridiculous.
I love those. I mean, like, I love all those like bad 90s like video game movies. People are always like, oh, they're awful, and I'm like, no, they're brilliant because they're so bad they're brilliant. Like the Mario Brothers movie, it's amazing.
Street Fighter
movie, oh my god, I love it. It's so horrible that it's fantastic. Like, I don't know how you can get to that kind of level of like awfulness and go beyond it that makes it so...
It's a circle. You go around the suck circle.
Exactly. It's horrible.
Oh,
amazing.
Awesome.
Yeah, totally. But, okay. Is there anything else you want to say before I sign off with you?
No, just check out, if you want to keep track of Udon stuff, check out all our social media. They're either Udon Ent or Udon Entertainment. Just look us up.
Yeah, and obviously go and follow Matt on Lilformers on Twitter if you want to get some behind-the-scenes look at some amazing stuff that Udon has coming up, and also some really cool art pieces and stuff that you post, and also your own artwork as well that you post your Lilformers, and they can keep in touch with you and see what you are up to and where you're going to be in the future at Comic Cons and up and down the country. Are you going to be at NYCC?
I'm not going to make that.
Boo.
Yeah, because I'm doing the Transformers show in the same month.
Ah, okay. And family stuff as well. You can't be away every weekend.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Matt, for being with me today, and I'll have you on again. It's going to happen again, I'm sure. Maybe I'll try and get you and Eric
Okay, cool.
on together. We can do a menage a trois. You have a comic called Menage a Trois, don't you? Udon does a...
Yeah, we publish. That's by Giselle Lagasse. She's a Canadian artist who does a series of webcomics under a banner called Pixie Tricks, and the main known one is Menage a Trois, which is kind of like, it's basically a Archie Comics type attitude.
It's very Archie style, yeah.
But everybody is also sleeping with everybody else.
Okay. Check that out. Available now from Udon Entertainment.
Yeah, we publish the collected editions. Mature readers, says on.
All right, well, thank you so much, Matt, and don't forget to check Matt out, and don't forget to check out more Petefighter podcasts on my YouTube channel, and also available anywhere that you get your podcasts. Thank you so much, guys. I will be back soon with another episode, and thank you so much, Matt, and take care. I'll see you soon. Bye, everybody. Bye.
9